What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 6 of the Box Out Podcast. I am your host, Nate Mendez. Welcome to the show. It's been a minute. College has been pretty busy. You know, back home on break. So I just want to get a couple episodes in while I'm home. A lot has happened in the NBA since the last episode. So without further ado, let's get into the biggest news of this weekend or this week. Phoenix Suns have a new owner. Matt Ishba has bought the Phoenix Suns for $4 billion, the biggest sale in NBA history. The Phoenix Suns should be the third most expensive team in the NBA. If I'm not mistaken, the third most expensive team in the NBA. Matt Ishba, name that not a whole lot of people recognize, outside of probably East Lansing, where he played Michigan State. He was a walk on, won a national title in 2000. So, he knows ball. And, that's a great thing for Phoenix Suns fans is just, another person that knows basketball. Robert Sarver, I don't exactly know what he did before, but all us Phoenix Suns fan know he did not know ball. And, despite him, despite all everything that's happened within the Phoenix Suns organization, despite how you feel Sarver getting expelled, did he need to? It doesn't matter. I didn't feel like he was a good owner, and I am very glad for the new owner, Matt Ishba. Now, I mean, Robert Sarver definitely had some skeletons out in the open, but with a lot of billionaires, it tends to happen where they have a few skeletons in their closet. They're not the best people. How they get their money. Matt Ishba, I kind of researched. I am not seeing a whole lot, to be honest with you. He's a great guy. He takes care of his employees. He calls 2, 3 employees from his big company. He runs a mortgage company. Actually rivals with Dan Gilbert, Cleveland Cavaliers owner. Big rivalry over there. I mean, that's going to revive Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker rivalries. I'm very excited to see what Cleveland versus Phoenix is going to look like this season. Um, but he's a great guy. He takes care of his employees, takes care of the company. So I'm very excited to see what this new owner can do with Phoenix Suns. What this means for the Phoenix Suns. There's a lot of reports coming from our guys saying that without the uncertainty of the owner, it was unclear if we could trade. So we weren't including a first round pick in our trades. With Jay Crowder, our main trade piece. I mean, Cam Johnson has been kind of in the mix for trades. So there's a lot that's going to happen, and a lot that's going on still within the Phoenix Suns trade market. But talking about Jay Crowder specifically, um, his trade value is kind of going down a little bit. I'm probably gonna get into it a little bit more when we talk about our last segment, NBA trade season. But then again, I'm very excited for what Dan Gilbert, or excuse me, not Dan Gilbert, that's his rival. What Matt Ishba is going to do for the Phoenix Suns, and we'll just have to wait and see. So very excited. But going elsewhere in the West, John Morant, a star for the Memphis Grizzlies, a star in the West, one of the young stars of the NBA, was on an interview with ESPN, and she basically asked him, who do you have to run through? Like what team are you looking at and saying we got to run through them in order to get to a title? He said the Celtics. I mean, you're forgetting that there's a whole Western Conference you have to play through to get to the finals. You did not make it to the finals last year, just FYI. So they have Desmond Bain, great young player, very exciting young player. I like him. Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams, the big center. They're a great team. Memphis is a great team. But to say you're not scared of anyone in the West, well, Jamal Murray, Instagram Live, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, even the Phoenix Suns. We don't know what they're going to look like with the trade. The Warriors are still a scary team if they're all healthy. I mean, Lakers are scary too if they're healthy, but we just know there never will be uh, with Anthony Davis's health issues and all that. Um, but yeah, to say that that's kind of crazy. Phoenix actually plays Memphis tonight, this Friday night, and I am very very excited to see. Devin Booker's not going to be playing, sadly. So if they lose, we got to clown them. Phoenix Twitter, Suns Twitter, we got to clown the Memphis Grizzlies. If not, I mean, we're without our star player, Cam Johnson, another starter. He's hurt. Jay Crowder, another starter. He has not playing. So I mean, we're expected to lose this game, but I hope we beat them just so, John Morant has to be scared of us, running through the West. Um, that's a little bit of drama. It's not a whole lot. I just wanted to go over it just for a little bit. But there is some drama over in the East, especially in Atlanta. So a lot like and most of the time the drama is like, oh, John Collins and Trey Young, they're not seeing eye to eye. John Collins has been on the trading block for the longest time. But now it's kind of just seems like Trey Young is the one on the trading block. Um, it says Trey Young hates his coach. He hates John Collins. His coach doesn't like him, and a lot of executives believe that he's going to be the next young superstar, to ask out of his team. Um, and considering that, I don't think we can consider Luca for Trey a win-win pick anymore. If that's the case, I mean, I think I've seen it for a while. Um, Trey Young hasn't really gotten the pieces together. He's not really working with Dejounte Murray. I mean, they've been okay, but they haven't been what he's expected to with having another star in that backcourt. And, you know, I was very excited to see what that backcourt was going to look like, but sadly, it's not really been doing great. And so Trey Young has drama with his coach. It's hard to fire a coach, trade a good role player for your young guy, and he's not performing the greatest, not shooting the most efficient. So, I mean, if someone gives you an offer that blows you out of the water, I would take it if I was the Hawks GM. But out of the East, he's probably one of the biggest stars outside of maybe a couple guys to ask for a trade. But definitely watch out for the Atlanta situation. John Collins, great tradable piece. Trey Young, if he asks out, that's another tradable piece. But with all these rumors, all these speculations, it's the beginning of NBA trade season. One of the funnest time excuse me, not funnest. I'm an English major. I shouldn't be saying that. One of the more fun times of the NBA season is NBA trade season. NBA free agency, awesome. I love that. I think within the first 5 minutes, deals happen. So I mean, very very fun time. NBA free agency, the playoffs definitely awesome. Finals awesome. But trade season, this is where we see the competitors become better competitors, and the people just start to tank. And when there's a draft at the end of this year, where you have Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, Amen Thompson, Dariq Whitehead, these are franchise changing guys. This might be the year to tank. This might be the year where you say, "Hey, we're not going to be good for a while. Our guys are old. We're not going to be good. We've already traded away all of our picks. We need assets. This might be the year to say, hey, you know, oh wow, let's see what we can get for our stars." And one of the biggest places that I'm seeing where they're going to start trading their stars is the Chicago Bulls. That's why I'm rocking the White Sox jersey. Just you know, my family's from a little bit Chicago, and so I like the White Sox. Not a Bulls fan. I'm a Suns fan. But having said that, Zach Levine is seems like he's about to ask for a trade. Them and the Bulls are not seeing eye to eye. He's a member of Clutch Sports, who are masters at getting players off their team. And most of the time, Clutch Sports is associated with LeBron. As always, another superstar is linked to the Lakers. Now, this actually has some validity to it. Zach Levine did play for UCLA in college. That's right in Los Angeles, right there. He's always wanted to be a Laker, it says, according to some reports. And, it's just, you know, the Bulls have not been playing great. They're kind of in mediocrity. They're kind of like the Pacers, the new Pacers, where the Pacers right now are rebuilding. They got Benedict Mathurin. They have Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Smith, old Phoenix Suns guy's been playing well for them. They're kind of in a rebuild. But, the Bulls, but like, so they're trying to still go for picks, trying to develop the young talent. The Bulls, though, are trying to be competitors, and they're out of the plan as it stands right now. So a lot of moves need to happen in order for the Bulls to be a competitor in the East, and it does not look likely. You have the Bucks with they have one of the best players in the world in Giannis Antetokounmpo. My opinion, he's the best player in the world outside of maybe Jokic. Those two guys are probably 1 and 2. I don't even know the order. They're probably just the 2 best players in the league right now. But the Bulls, they can't compete with those guys. The 76ers, even with Harden and Embiid, they're not competing with them. The Heat's just a good team. They're not competing with them. And so you have to look at this and you say, Victor Wembanyama's at the end of this draft. Scoot Henderson's at the end of this draft. We're not going to get any better. These guys are aging stars. Um, so Zach Levine, you might have to go. Another report is coming out saying that DeMar DeRozan might ask out for a trade if nothing happens this season. And if they trade Zach Levine, you know, that's something where the situation doesn't get better, it just gets worse. And so DeMar DeRozan might also be off the team as well, be traded. So we just have to wait and see what happens in Chicago. That's one of the more volatile situations that I would see looking into this trade deadline. Trade deadline's in February, but everyone's eligible to be traded now. December 15th, all players that were signed in the offseason are now eligible to be traded. So DeAndre Ayton, you might need to go. I like you. You've been playing great for us. But, you know, Kevin Durant, he's on the market. DeAndre Ayton, I'm sorry, you might need to go. But so this is why we're getting all this buzz right now. Um, and trade deadline's not for another month or so. So there's still gonna be a lot more drama that's gonna come in. But this is just the stuff that I'm seeing. Uh Speaking of the Suns, Kyle Kuzma, currently playing for the Wizards, he's saying that he wants to be traded. The Wizards has kind of made it clear that they're not going to pay him like he expects to be paid. He's expecting a 20 plus $1 million contract. He's a great player. He's turning himself into a superstar. Another bad pick by the GM. Trading that guy for Russell Westbrook, who has been decent off the bench, but you're not paying $44 million for the sixth man of the year. So again, another bad move by the GM. But he's been rumored to the Lakers and the Suns, return to the Lakers. The Suns seems more likely. We have Jay Crowder, we have Cam Johnson, we just have more pieces. The Lakers have the two most valuable picks in the NBA, but they're not going to move them unless it's for a superstar. So, I mean, you're just gonna have to wait and see. I hope he ends up in Phoenix, but he's becoming more and more of a superstar, and his prices keep going up and up. So if he does get traded, he's gonna go for some big, big money, a big trade package. I think personally. Another guy that's been rumored to be going to the Suns for the longest time is Eric Gordon. Now, Eric Gordon, he's an old veteran, part of that Rockets team that almost made the finals. One of the best Rocket teams I've seen in a long time over there. He's a great shooter, great defender, um, and he's a veteran guy in a team full of young guys. Doesn't really fit your model, just like John Wall didn't really fit the model. He got bought out, and now he's with the Clippers right now. I expect Eric Gordon to be traded. They're probably going to ask for two firsts. That's what they were asking for last year. Maybe in a first and a second now that he's a year older. Um, but my prediction for them is the 76ers. 76ers have been trying to improve their roster forever, and a reunion with James Harden, you know, having Harden and Maxey as your first offensive front, and then you're having Eric Gordon off your bench scoring buckets for you. That's a great team. And the 76ers would become one of the juggernauts of the East. Um, so Eric Gordon, I expect him to go to the 76ers. We're just gonna have to wait and see who's the most active during the trade deadline. He might even go to the Bulls, and the Bulls might try to salvage their season. We just don't know. A lot of these rumors are out of the East, like Pascal Siakam. There's no rumors, but the Raptors are tanking, so that's Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby. Um, so a lot of those guys, Fred Van Vliet, he might go as well. So a lot of the guys on the Raptors and a lot of teams with that are tanking, they have some veterans that they can get some big picks for. A lot of firsts, a lot of seconds, a lot of young talent. So the Raptors are a team to look out for. Wizards are a name to look out for. The Bulls are a name to look out for. Um, the Hawks, as we've mentioned, is another name to look out for. Other teams, other players that I expect to be traded at the trade deadline: John Collins, Jay Crowder, Danny Green, OG Anunoby, Fred Van Vliet, Cam Reddish. All these names have already been rumored in trades. Um, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what's gonna happen with that. But this is the start of NBA trade season, and I am so excited to get this going. But that's gonna be the end of this episode today. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe. Um, Viewing this content more regularly. I know I say that a lot, but I'm on break now. I don't have a job currently, so I should be doing this more often. So thank you for tuning in, and very excited to see how this NBA trade season shapes out. Adios.